Senator Tim Sheehy is the newly minted senator from Montana. So first of all, Senator, we want to congratulate you and wish you all the best as U.S. Senator. We know you're going to do a fantastic job, and thank the people of Montana for doing the right thing. But you posted something very, very important, I thought, and I talked about it in the first hour. And that is, these politicians, these governors, these states have a responsibility to manage their land. They can't stop natural disasters, but they can try and manage in advance what might become a natural disaster. And they're not doing it, particularly in states that buy off on this climate change, this radical environmentalism. There are things they can do in these forests and so forth to try at least to limit the damage that is caused. Do I have you right?
You're 100% right. And Mark, two things can be true. We can care about the environment and want to steward our forests and our clean water and clean air. We can also take care of our communities and do a better job of protecting them. And what you said is absolutely right. We're seeing these left-wing lunatic policies in California, and the accumulation of these policies has impacts. When you have endangered species acts, that prioritizes the Eurasian snailfish over water pressure and fire hydrants, and we don't have enough water to fight fires, that has an impact. When you cordon off forests and say you can't touch these, you can't log these, you can't have roads in these, guess what? You can't fight a fire if there's no road going in the forest. When you cut our aerial firefighting fleet, our air taker fleet in half, which is what we've done in the last 20 years, guess what? We have less planes to fight fires. So these wrong-headed policies have impacts, and the impacts we've seen in wildfire from Lahaina and Maui, where 100 people died, to New Jersey in November, to Texas in March, and now we're seeing Los Angeles, downtown L.A., burning in front of our faces. This is a disgrace. We can do it better. I spoke to President Trump just about an hour ago during our meeting about it, and he is 100% behind us. We're going to fix this problem, and we're going to do it fast.
And isn't it amazing, Senator, that the very people who claim self-righteously to be protecting the environment, in effect, they're destroying the environment. Imagine all the air pollution and water pollution, all the dead animals as a result of their policies. I mean, again, they may not have started these things, but they don't make it easier to be more effective in managing them. This is your background, correct?
Exactly. As you might remember in our campaign, John Tester and the Democrats try to destroy my company and my team. We're aerial firefighters, Bridger Aerospace, great company. And those red, yellow planes you see fighting the fires in Pacific Palisades today, those are the type of planes that I personally flew. It's an important mission. And to your point exactly, these crazy policies that are restricting logging in our forests. They don't let you build roads in the forest. They don't let you. Here's a great anecdote, Mark. There'll be a reservoir right next to a fire where you can scoop with those planes or a helicopter and have 2-minute turns, 3-minute turns to drop water. They'll send you 20 minutes away to a different body of water because of some mussel or Eurasian shellfish or endangered species. Say, no, don't touch that water. That water's special. So let the houses burn. Go get the water 20 miles away. Meantime, people are running for their lives, and we are prioritizing obscure endangered species over the safety of our communities. And this, Mark, is what America First means. When Trump says America First, people say, oh, that's isolationist, that's tariffs. It's a whole collection of ideas that says it's not too much for the American people to ask for their government to put their interests first. Mm-hmm. And putting the safety of our communities first is not crazy. It's common sense.
You're listening to Tim Sheehy. He's a great new senator from Montana. Thank God he won. Now, Tim Sheehy, I noticed that the so-called mainstream media, which is not mainstream, it's radical left Democrat, the networks and their entrails, these different websites and so forth, they're either not reporting on the failure of safe forest management or managing the environment, but they're attacking people who dare to bring it up. I'm guessing you're coming under attack yourself.
Of course, they've been attacking me. The Wildland Firefighter Union endorsed John Tester and attacked me for criticizing exactly what you're seeing on TV now, the fact that we are not ready to fight these fires. And we don't pay our firefighters enough, so guess what? They don't stay on the job. When there hasn't been a wildfire in a week or two, we shut down the fire stations, we lay off the firefighters for the season, and we sell off the fire engines. That's insane. No city in the country does that. If there hasn't been a fire on a city block in a week, guess what? Those firefighters are still ready to respond. Across America, there's a 5-minute federal requirement that fire engines must respond to an urban fire in 5 minutes. That's the requirement across the United States. There is zero requirement to respond to wildland fires in any amount of time. That's why it took 4 days to dispatch air tankers to the Smokehouse Creek fire in Texas last year. We need to bring these wildfire response mechanisms under control, and the way to do it is not more money even, it's bureaucracy. We have too many deep state bureaucrats who are not accountable to the people in their communities. We need to clear them out, clarify control, and provide leadership. Again, and with our meeting with President Trump tonight, which I just left, we talked about this very subject. They're going to punch through the bureaucracy, and we're going to fix wildland fire management. We're going to hold these local leaders accountable when they fail.
Now, Senator Tim Sheehy, years and years ago, I was a deputy solicitor at the Interior Department. And one of the things that really got under my skin was this constant accumulation of land by the federal government. The federal government controls almost 30% of the landmass of the United States. That's directly owns it and indirectly regulates most of the rest of it. And yet, they don't manage these lands. They don't even know what lands they actually have. Biden's out there basically declaring more monuments. One president wants to outdo the next. How do we stop this? This is insane.
I met with Governor Burgum last night, soon to be our new Secretary of Interior, and he's going to be a unique type of bureaucrat, Mark, because he's going to be the type that gives power away, which, as you know, is the opposite of what bureaucrats do. And as Secretary of Interior, one of his top priorities is the defederalization of this massive movement you just talked about, which is whether it's monuments, whether it's wildlife areas, whether it's refuge areas, this land grab that the government has unconstitutionally conducted really in the last 50 years. As you correctly stated, they're grabbing areas, immediately declaring them conserved or preserved or monuments, and all of a sudden you can't drill for oil, you can't mine minerals, you can't drive an ATV across them. In Montana, ranchers are getting more and more frustrated because they can't drive vehicles up in the mountains to fix their fences or fix their wells because they're not vehicle-approved land. So we have to get this back under control. And I think the Chevron Deference Act last year will give us the legal grounding to go in and start repealing a lot of these to ensure that we are democratically managing our lands. Because these lands don't belong to the government, they belong to the people. They are public lands, and they have to be managed as such.
Very, very well said. I mean, some of these states, you look at Nevada, like 90% of Nevada is, I guess it's owned by the federal government.
It's like 90, I think it's 96 and a half, something like that in Nevada.
God.
And here's something, Mark, that's crazy. The largest lithium deposit in the world, one of the largest, I think it is the largest right now, is on all federal land in the state of Nevada. And as you know, that's one of the most precious minerals in the world. We need it so desperately, and we can't touch it. Why? Because the radicals in the environmental movement and deep in our government are refusing to let us touch that. So not only do we need to open up a lot of these federal lands, we need to take care of our environment and protect it. We also need to make sure it's operating for the betterment of our people. That means oil and gas leases. That means mining. Common sense. Common sense.
Well said, Senator. We're thrilled here, Levinites all over the country, that you're in the United States Senate. God bless you, my friend.
Thank you, Mark.
There he goes. Wasn't that unbelievable? It's a sharp dude. And a great, by the way, great American patriot.